All right, what is going on, my dudes? We're back here today with the newest champion entering MCOC. We got Baron Zemo. So, this guy can do a lot of pretty interesting things, man. He's kind of like a Craven 2.0 if Craven worked a little bit better, a little bit more reliably, right? So, you guys know me, I love Craven, rank 4, SIG 200, so I'm not digging on Craven here. But Baron Zemo, he's just a little bit more reliable, a little bit more consistent. You always know what you're going to get. Most of his stuff is guaranteed, right? His permanent debuffs, a lot of very interesting utility. We're going to start jumping right into it today. I'm going to tell you how to use him, what he can do, who he's good to use against. Abilities, basic attacks, medium attacks. He wields a gun. He wields a gun on his medium attacks. It says it right there, okay? Those do not make contact because bang, bang, pew, pew. You just start blasting, all right? Whenever the opponent purifies a debuff or is immune to an effect, Zemo gains a Fury buff, increasing the attack rating of his next hit by 6104 at rank 3 as a 6 star. So that's kind of like if you're fighting, like, for example, Korg, right? And he's immune to bleed, you're going to get a Fury for the next hit. So it kind of makes him usable in those matchups where they can't be bled because most of his damage just comes from bleeds, okay? Now, he's very interesting because all of his stuff is permanent. So his personal bleeds are indefinite debuffs that deal, it says 24 direct damage per second. Now, that is not a lot, right? That is not a big number whatsoever. However, when you stack those bleeds up, they start to do some pretty significant damage over time, especially when you consider they can go up to 99 and they are permanent, right? So the damage keeps growing and growing and growing and growing, and every second you're doing all of this damage and all of these bleeds are stacking on top of each other, right? So in shorter fights, he's not going to be the best in shorter fights in non-ideal matchups. You're going up where there's going to be a lot of like non-damaging debuffs. He's going to be actually pretty darn solid in those fights, but just for vanilla matchups, he's not going to be the best for shorter fights, but definitely still usable. All of his personal effects can be inflicted through the block. Grand Machination. Enter each fight with 5 indefinite cleanse passives. Now, those cleanses, they cannot get rid of stun debuffs, all right? When you run out of cleanses, 5 debuffs, you're going to put a root passive on the opponent, okay? For 5 seconds, and you're going to get an armor up buff. It's going to increase your armor rating by 800, which is definitely quite a bit. And while the armor up is active, you can't gain any cleanse, okay? And after those 20 seconds, you gain the 5 cleanse again, and you can return those cleanse into the root once more. Right where I want you, root. When the opponent becomes rooted, they are inflicted with an indefinite, permanent, 50% decelerate this text up to 2 times. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to decrease the ability accuracy of unstoppable and evade effects. So if you root them twice, they won't be able to evade, they won't be able to go unstoppable for the entire fight. That's pretty darn strong, man. It's pretty strong because you root them very, very quickly, very, very easily, right? And then you kind of shut off their unstoppable and evasion for the rest of the fight. Especially in a longer fight, that's going to be very useful in the future. Now, while the opponent is rooted, this is something that Craven needs right here. Their combat power rate is reduced by 40%, and Zemo's has increased by 40%. So it's like they learned from the downsides of Craven and just fixed them. Additionally, Zemo's attacks can't miss, and all of its hits inflict an indefinite bleed debuff. So if the opponent breaks free of Zemo's root before it expires, they inflict 5 additional bleed debuffs, reduced by 1 for each prowess that they have. Now, that's more of a defensive ability because they're not going to be able to break free of your root while they're on defense, okay? So when you're fighting this guy and you get rooted, don't use a special attack to break out of it, or unless you're using like Omega Red, then you're going to get indefinite bleeds on you. So, oh my god, wouldn't that be fun, right? Man, I feel like it's been so long since I had like a simple, straight to the point champion to talk. We're almost done. We're almost done, man. Like, how about that? I didn't even have to be like, there was a lot of text and we're only going to talk about the important stuff. Now we're talking about literally everything because there's not even that much. So we're going to go in reverse order here, okay? We're going to go special 2, 1, then 3. So special 2, the final hit inflicts a root passive on the opponent for 5 seconds, okay? So yes, of course, the cleanses are great, and it's going to be really amazing when there are those non-damaging debuff matchups. However, it's not going to be there, right? So the special 2 is where you're going to get that root. Now you can combine these things. You can go for the root with the debuffs, right? If you're getting like, you know, a little spicy, right? Go for the full root. Once it's almost done, go for the special 2. Put him in another root. Oh my god, you can just have him rooted for days. The special 1. On activation, inflict an indefinite disorient passive, reducing block purchase by 25% and defensive ability actually by 10%. Max 4 stacks. So that's going to be really annoying on defense, but it's also very nice utility to have that indefinite disorient. It's going to be very decent for a lot of things. The final hit inflicts an indefinite bleed debuff, and if the opponent is rooted, pause root for the duration of the special attack, and the final hit inflicts 5 additional bleed debuffs. So unless you really need that disorient right away, right? What you want to do is you want to use your special one while they're rooted, okay? Now, it is 100 billion million percent possible to go for your special 2, right, when you're at like 2.9 bars of power, or activated through the cleanses when you're at like 1.9 bars of power. Go for the special 1 at the very beginning of root. It's going to be paused during this to go for a 5-hit combo, go for a 5-hit combo while they're rooted, and end it with the special 1 as well. And you're going to be stacking on an absolute metric crap ton of permanent bleeds, and that's how you're going to get a lot out of this guy. Now, the special 3, you inflict an indefinite non-stacking Sunder passive, reducing critical resistance to 0 and preventing it from increasing. That's interesting. I'm not really sure like what that's meant to counter, like Dr. Doom maybe, but I don't know. Like, you know, crit resistance is going to go down, but that's interesting, right? It's interesting, I guess, but I mean, you're not really going to have a use for that. But the real special 3 here is like the nuke. So the attack gains plus 600 attack rating for each of Zemo's indefinite effects the opponent is suffering. So you can have 99 bleeds, you can have 4 disorients, you can have a Sunder passive, you can have 2 decelerates, right? You can have a lot of permanent things there, increasing the damage by quite a bit. Over 100 things, right? So you're going to have an increase of like over 60,000 attack rating for the special 3, which is quite a lot. Very big special. Now, the Sig ability here, it doesn't do much, which is a good thing, right? Now, funny enough, he does have top 5 prestige, and he's up there like right under Dr. Doom. So if you're a prestige guy, well, you're getting this guy, right? If you play in top AQ, let's be real, you're getting this guy. So unfortunately, you're not getting much bang for your buck when it comes to the Sig tones here. Zemo gains plus 1,000 critical damage rating and can perform critical hits through the opponent's block. That's decent, I guess. And when fighting heroes, attacks that intercept the opponent gain plus 1,000 critical rating. It's just like he's so fine unduped. He might be like the most fine unduped champion ever released, you know? And he has top 5 prestige right under Dr. Doom. Now, synergies, okay? He has some very decent synergies. Gain plus 50% bleed potency for each other Baron Zemo on the team. Additionally, gain plus 5% bleed potency for each rank in the Deep Wounds Mastery. So if you stack up a 6-star, 5-star, 7-star, in the future 4-star Baron Zemo, you can start doing some really crazy bleed damage, right? Of course, it's going to be unrealistic most of the time, but there's also these as well. Gain plus 3% attack rating for each villain on the team, and this bonus is doubled when fighting heroes, okay? That's definitely really solid. Justice like Lightning, Thunderbolt just got an update to the tag. Lots of decent champions now. Gain plus 3% perfect block chance and take 5% less damage from special attacks for each Thunderbolt on the team, and these bonuses are doubled when fighting villains. So if you stack up with Thunderbolts, it can be pretty decent. Tour Guide. You're not going to do too much here, but Sam Wilson and Falcon gain plus 25% debuff duration and also plus 500 critical damage rating. Definitely nice for Falcon and Sam Wilson there. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This one is like, okay, not going to be too much there. This one's fun. Boogie Uprising. Dodging back and holding block activates a 1.2 second timer. Releasing block just as the timer expires grants a Jiggy with it buff for 20 seconds, increasing critical rating by plus 150 and granting an unstoppable passive while dodging backwards and dashing forwards. That's so unique and so cool. And I just realized the other day, in fact, I PM'd the designer and I was like, oh my god, Symbiote Spidey is in the Boogie Uprising synergy because of the Bully Maguire meme. That is so freaking funny. Obviously, you know, Star-Lord, he dances, Mantis dances under Special 3, and, you know, Deadpool does the moonwalk. But I was like, I was always like, why is Symbiote Spidey in here? It doesn't make any sense, but that made me laugh when I realized that. This synergy is actually very good for him as well. Activating a special attack grants a non-stacking Vicious buff, increasing the potency of damage over time debuffs by 50% for 10 seconds. That's also going to be really solid, right, for Man-Thing, for Abomination, for Symbiote Supreme, and for Toad. You know, that's definitely really solid. One more, stole my shtick. Bullet hits for the medium attacks and special 2 are going to inflict incinerate damage debuffs, and this is so good for Phoenix. Fury buffs gain plus 100% potency. That's a lot of potency, dude. Now, we're going to show some gameplay, but unfortunately, there is a very bad bug of sorts on the content creator beta here, which essentially makes him unplayable. Not even exaggerating. So what we're going to do here is we are actually going to take a look at the deep dive where he was playable. Okay? And if you haven't watched it yet, come on, man. I worked really hard on it. Okay, so the bug is essentially that when root happens, instead of throwing heavy attacks while they're supposed to, they block. It literally makes him unplayable. It's very upsetting. But we're gonna watch the rotation here, and I'm gonna show you what he can do and how to play him. And this is how he's going to perform on the live server. So this is what it's gonna look like. So anyway, let's watch it, okay? So what I like to do is I like to build to just under 2.9 bars of power, right? And now at this point, drain their power, go for a special 2. I'm gonna root him up. I'm gonna go right in, medium attack. I'm gonna have increased combat power rate right to the special 1 immediately. Stack on the bleeds, watch the bleeds up to 11. Go right in with the 5-hit combo, right? There we go, have a lot of bleeds. And I'm gonna end off the root right here with another one. Check it out. So from the 1 cycle, we have 30 bleeds, right? So look at that, we're ticking down about 2,400 damage per second just from bleeds, right? And you can just not hit him for the rest of the fight, and you're just doing that damage over and over and over, right? So from here, right, you can either repeat that process, which is kind of what I like to do. I like to go for the special 2 and the special 1 again, get them up to 60 bleed debuffs, right? But, you know, for the sake of the rotation and the deep dive and everything, I went for the special 3 because that's like, you know, the assassin nuke thing, right? So we have all these passives, and you're going to go for the special 3 to finish it all off, okay? There we go. And, like, you know, like we said, that's going to have the increased damage based on the amount of passive permanent effects and debuffs and passives that you have. Very cool special 3 animation. More often than not, I do actually prefer to go for the special 2, special 1. Okay, so that is how you want to play him. Now, do you have to go for the 2 special 1s? Of course you don't. Of course you don't. You can go for the special 2, go for the special 1, and you don't need to squeeze both of those in there if it's going to be too stressful of a play style, right? You definitely don't have to do that. But for me, it's like that's how you're going to maximize him, and I prefer doing that, right? So that's how I enjoy playing. I think that that's the way to get the most bang out of your buck with Zemo, because at the end of the day, his damage is a bit on the lower side without synergies. With synergies, the damage definitely gets up there, to be honest. If you put another Zemo on the team, put deep wounds in, if you run him with suicides and you have Immortal Abomination or anyone in that synergy team, that synergy section on the team, he starts hitting really, really hard, man. And like the debuffs, they really start ticking at 99. If you bring him into like Abyss, man, like, I mean, you can really start ticking for about like, this is like 28,000 damage per second just from the bleeds when you're all the way ramped up. That's decent, man. That is most certainly decent, right? So when it comes to shorter fights, like, yeah, you know, it's interesting because he's going to be a pretty pain in the ass on defense, right? You can't really parry his mediums. You don't really want to inflict debuffs on him. He puts disorients and other stuff on you. You want to just use his special 1, decreasing your block proficiency. He can root you up with the special 2 if you get hit by it, if you get hit on the block even. So he's going to be a really annoying defender, but I feel like he's going to be a little bit too slow for like battleground stuff. So it's going to be interesting, like how much is he going to be used in battlegrounds? Because on defense, it's going to be a real pain in the ass. In the right matchup, Invisible Woman or something, he's going to be very good on offense, you know? I think he'll actually have a lot of play. I do think he will be useful in Alliance War because you have 5-minute timers in there. You don't have to worry about killing, you know, the defender within 60 seconds to beat your opponent. You can take 2 minutes to do the fight, and he's very effective for it. He has a very nice control of the fight. You root them up, they really can't do anything, right? Once they're rooted. So you hit them, you stack on the debuffs, right? You end it off with a special 1 if you want, right? You bait out a special attack and you repeat. It's a very, very smooth playstyle with him, I think. So I do think that I would like him for Alliance War, that kind of stuff. So yeah. Also, for stuff like Eternity of Pain, future bosses like that, I could totally see him being useful, especially because, you know, listen, like I said, there's this bug, right? It's going to make him, like, kind of unplayable here, man. I mean, unplayable is a very strong word, but it's like I'm going through it and I'm like, oh my god, man. It's like I can't attack them when they're rooted because they're just blocking. They're just blocking and they're parrying me. Like, it's like, what are you? They're supposed to be heavy attacking, right? But there are a lot of Science Champions he counters really, really well, because what do Science Champions do? They put debuffs on you. And how does Baron Zemo activate the root without going for the special 2, you got to get the 5 debuffs on you, right? Now, there's this really annoying defender that a lot of people don't have yet, but his name is Spot. And how do you counter Spot? You put a disorient on him. What does Baron Zemo do on his special 1? He has a damn permanent disorient. So without a doubt, this guy is the best Spot counter. He's going to be the most easiest Spot counter. Check it out right here. Boom, done. Passive disorient, done. Gonna hit his block. Where's your portal block, dude? Gone. Gone. Gone, 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 gone. You don't have it. It's not there. Nothing you can do. You're done. You are done, my friend. Go back to the spotted dimension. You are done, sir. I said good day. Okay? This dude right here, Quicksilver, right? Now, of course, I'm trying to get these debuffs on me. You know, I'm like, I'm just like, all right, eventually, I'm just going to go ahead and just get hit, right? Have you ever gotten hit by Quicksilver? Puts all these debuffs on you? Well, check out what he can do against Quicksilver, right here. He hits like a pillow fist, right? I'm trying to get like these whiplashes on me. There we go. Root him up, right? Root them up right there. Go for the special 1. Put all the bleeds on. You see that? Very, very easy to get some debuffs on you with Quicksilver. You're going to cleanse them. Now, Titania. I feel like we don't talk about Titania enough as a defender, man, but she goes unblockable, unstoppable, indestructible every few seconds. Put these debuffs on. Now, look at this, man. Like, I'm trying to get her to throw 2 more light attacks on me. She's just a heavy chain in the corner. I'm like, my girl, what are you doing to me right now? Throw 1 light attack so I can show the people what can happen. Root them up, right? And now watch this. I believe I get parried here. What is going on, man? She's supposed to be throwing a heavy attack. This is what I'm talking about. Unplayable, man. But seriously, though, it's like, I mean, like, I hope this bug isn't going to be on the live server. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be on the live server, right? But anyway, at this point, right, see right there, the block. That block right there, it doesn't look like much, but that is really hurting his viability in throwing the 2 special 1s. So it's really hurting his overall damage output, right? But anyway, whatever, rant aside there, it shouldn't happen on the live server. He should be good to go, right? But yeah, anyway, what's going to happen now in Titania is that those 2 decelerates are going to make her unstoppable no more, so she cannot be unstoppable for the rest of the fight. And oh my god, I really got my butt kicked in this fight, man. Like, I can't even believe it. Like, I really just got my entire butt kicked, right? But we got her down, boom, done. All right, we somehow finished at 85% health. Jessica freaking Jones, man, she is a bit of a nightmare on defense if you don't have a counter. And what you need to counter her is cleanse, okay? So when you purify a debuff with cleanse, you are going to remove some of her investigation, I believe, right? Or else when you activate cleanse, something like that. But watch this. We're going to go for a special 2 or whatever, and the weaknesses, right? They're not really going to bother us, and we're just getting rid of those debuffs. We're going for the special 1, and we cleanse the weaknesses and all that fun stuff, right? And then what would happen is after she got rooted, we get the cleanses back. When you gain the cleanse effect, she's going to lose the investigation. I forget exactly how she works. Point is, Zemo, solid counter there. We got our boy Scorpion here, right? Now, Scorpion likes to throw that special 1 and place those debuffs on you when he hits your block, right? So check it out, of course, when I want to show you guys that, right? We only get 1 poison on us, but you get the idea, right? Also, if you happen to get hit by like his heavy attack, right? And he puts those torment charges on you, man. Ooh, you could just kind of get rid of those things, use it against him. Check it out. So we're going to actually bait a heavy attack here. I don't recommend you do this, but like if you mess up, if you eat a heavy attack, if you eat whatever thing that he's going to do, look at this. He's just, sure, now they'll throw the heavy attacks like crazy. Come on, man. Get out of here. Get all the way out of here, right? Medium attacks don't make contact, right? So Electro right here, bam. Medium, 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 all the freaking way. We're just going to medium, medium. We're going to finish this Electro fight at 100% health. You can go for the special 2. Doesn't make contact. Medium, medium, over and over and over while he's rooted, right? And that's going to be a very, very, very viable Electro counter. So let's say we're really bad at fighting Void, right? Oh my god, we messed up the counter. Boom, cleanse, right? Let's say we keep getting hit by the special 1. oh my god, that's crazy. All these debuffs he's trying to put on us, he's not going to be able to put on us, right? So look, it's like, oh my god, we got hit again. We lost our combo. Now the intimidating debuff thing is gone again. Now we're going to go in and get hit by the special one. It's gone again. Oh my god, can I get 10 hits in my combo meter before his little timer runs out? Guess what? It doesn't matter because the cleanses are going to come in clutch. He's going to parry us because Jesus Christ. We're going to go ahead and just shoot him right in the face instead. Okay? Invisible Woman. He's a very solid Invisible Woman counter. You know, this is rank 3 versus rank 3 here. So what it's going to be doing is we're going to be getting rid of the shield very quickly. But as you can see, right, we were losing those cleanse charges very quickly. We're going to wait for the shield to come back to finish it off. And as you can see, when we do that, boom, you can get her into the root very quickly, and you actually cannot miss while they're rooted. So he's a very solid Invisible Woman counter as well. On top of that, I really like his interaction with Mr. Negative here. You can parry heavy, so you're going to get the Delirious debuff, but you're going to go ahead and just remove it. So what you can actually do is you're building your way up to that special one in a very interesting way by going for the heavy attacks here, and you're kind of cleansing off those debuffs. And by the time you get him rooted, you're going to be in like perfect position to go for that special one here, and you're going to just get all those extra debuffs, right? And you can absolutely build up to another special one in that time frame. So Mr. Negative is very solid for. So, you know, I always say, I feel like the class wheel is very important in this game, and it's only becoming more important, right? And Zemo counters a lot of science champions in a very effective way. There are a lot of science champions that just place a bunch of non-damaging debuffs on you, and that is where he's going to excel. So while he might not be the best general use champion for like battleground stuff, right, or just general questing, against science champions where more often than not you want to use class advantage, I do think he's actually very useful for it. So it's pretty interesting. Plus his character model is absolutely freaking sick, man. Just so cool, dude. Like, oh my god, look at that. So cool, man. So yeah, he's not going to be in the next featured crystal, I don't believe. I kind of wish he was, man, because I think he's pretty cool. But yeah, man, that is Zemo. Unfortunately, I couldn't get too much more gameplay against, like, you know, Deadpool or Winter Soldier or anything for you guys, because, you know, it would literally be pointless. Like, I mean, like, I'd be showing you how not to play him, you know? Maybe if this bug is fixed sometime in the future, I'll happily make more. We'll have to see, man. But if you happen to scoop a Zemo today and you've been playing around with him, let me know what you think in the comment section below of this guy, the Master of Evil. I'm curious, you know, what you think. And yeah, man, that's it for this one. That's it. A bit of an interesting, weirder one, right? It's like I showed a video of a different video. A little weird. It's fine, though. It's better than showing me, like, hitting its block. Trust me, all right? Trust me. I'll be seeing you around, man. Hit the subscribe button and stuff. Do, you know, seeing you around.